So the next question is from Satyanandi, and it's on the Nidana chain and feeling and craving. When we're doing the contemplation of the Nidana chain, in the part where we're looking at the reverse order, I wonder how we make sense of the section, upon the cessation of feeling, Vedana, craving, tanha, ceases. Clearly Vedana is not going to cease within the lifetime of any human being, whereas craving can cease, at least temporarily, at any time, for example by using antidotes or cultivating awareness. If this were not possible, we could never experience dhyana. Moreover, it has ceased entirely for an enlightened person, but presumably they would still experience Vedana. Could you elaborate on this point, i.e., how should we regard the ceasing of feeling, Vedana, in the context of this contemplation?
Well, I'm going to call Dharmamati to my assistance here and ask him to read a passage from the Pali Canon, which no doubt he'll identify, which deals with this very subject.
That's from the Samyutta Nikaya, and it's the Nidana Samyutta, and connected discourses on causation. And there's two sections, one on origination, and where the Nidanas go in the opposite direction, it's in the cessation section. And he says this, and I'm not going to reiterate every Nidana, I'm just going to do the introduction part, go straight to this bit, and then conclude. Then, because it occurred to me, when what does not exist, does birth not come to be? By the cessation of what does the cessation of birth come about? Then, because through careful attention there took place in me a breakthrough by wisdom. When there is no craving, clinging does not come to be. With the cessation of craving comes cessation of clinging. When there is no feeling, craving does not come to be. With the cessation of feeling comes cessation of craving. When there is no contact, feeling does not come to be. With the cessation of contact comes cessation of feeling, and so forth, including no sense bases, etc., name and form, consciousness.
Sanskaras and avidya. So that's clear, isn't it? Any problems? No. I think I see where the difficulty arises, the difficulty voiced by the questioner. What we call the positive series just describes the arising of the samsara, the turning of the wheel of life, what makes the wheel of life turn. But the second series, the so-called negative series, which one contemplates in reverse order, shows how it is that the cessation of ignorance has been made possible. And one must also further remember that the 12 Nidanas are divided into 3 sections or distributed over 3 lifetimes. The first 2 Nidanas belong to the previous life, the last 2 to the future life, and the middle 8 to the present life. So what this Nidana chain is telling us, and what our contemplation of it is telling us, that the reason why further rebirth has ceased for us is ultimately due to the fact that for us ignorance has ceased. So does that make it a little clearer? Not so sure. But so perhaps we retrace it then. All right. Why why is it that one is not reborn? One is not reborn. Why is it that one does not grow old and die? Well, one does not grow old and die in the case of one who has achieved nirvana because there has been no birth. Why has there been no birth? There's been no birth because there has been no becoming. Why has there been no becoming? There has been no becoming because there's been no clinging. Why has there been no clinging? There's been no clinging because there was no craving. Why has there been no craving? No craving because there was no feeling. Why has there been no feeling? Because there was no contact. And why was there no contact? Because there was no 6 organs. Why were there no 6 organs? Because there was no nama rupa. And why did no nama rupa come into existence? Because there was no vijnana. And why did no vijnana come into existence? Because no sanskaras arose, or had arisen in the previous life. And why did no sanskaras arise? Because no ignorance had arisen. Ignorance had ceased. So therefore the Buddha says, thus the whole mass of suffering ceases. So does that make it a bit clearer? Yeah. I think we'll leave it at that. And perhaps next time some of you go on a solitary retreat, perhaps you can retrace the Nidanas in that way and just see how it happens, or rather how it does not happen. So just to summarize, the positive order of the Nidanas explains how it is that the world arises, why the wheel of life goes on turning round. When we contemplate in reverse order, it shows us how it is that the wheel of life has stopped. Due to what reasons the wheel of life has stopped turning and we're no longer reborn. So perhaps we'll leave it at that for this evening.
Thank you, Bhante. This is a